As the clock ticks down to January 20th, a dramatic shift in leadership is poised to reshape the federal regulatory landscape. But before the new administration takes over, key regulatory agencies like the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, and the Department of Justice, DOJ, are working at breakneck speed. Their mission? To finalize investigations, file enforcement actions, and hold corporate wrongdoers accountable before a potential political reset. The sense of urgency within these agencies is palpable. As the Biden administration prepares to exit, staff morale faces challenges from impending leadership transitions, the looming threat of political interference, and the uncertainty of what the future holds. But rather than succumbing to inertia, regulators are doubling down. The SEC, DOJ, and other watchdogs are filing a flurry of lawsuits and indictments, ensuring that bad actors are held accountable even as the sands of power shift. This unprecedented regulatory push raises several pressing questions. What motivates this last-minute enforcement blitz? Who are the primary targets? And what could these actions mean for the incoming administration and the future of federal oversight? Today, we unpack the high-stakes scramble unfolding behind the scenes at America's top regulatory bodies. The SEC's aggressive pursuit of Wall Street accountability. Under the leadership of Gary Gensler, the SEC has cemented its reputation as the sheriff of Wall Street. Gensler, a veteran regulator and former Wall Street lawyer, has overseen significant efforts to tighten oversight of public companies and the financial industry. As his tenure draws to a close, Gensler is steering the agency into overdrive, prioritizing enforcement actions that tackle fraud, market manipulation, and emerging areas like cryptocurrency regulation. One high-profile example of this urgency is the recent settlement with Cantor Fitzgerald. The SEC imposed a $6.75 million fine on the firm for fraudulent practices involving several of its subsidiary companies. Cantor Fitzgerald's leadership, notably tied to Donald Trump's transition team, sought to delay proceedings until after January 20th. However, the SEC refused to relent, firing a clear warning shot to others who might underestimate the agency's resolve. But the SEC's focus isn't limited to legacy Wall Street firms. Cryptocurrency markets, a relatively nascent yet increasingly influential sector, are under heightened scrutiny. Gensler's SEC has pursued major players for failing to comply with securities laws, ensuring that these entities don't slip through regulatory cracks. As part of this broader campaign, the SEC has reportedly sent a demand letter to Elon Musk, addressing alleged irregularities in his financial dealings surrounding Twitter's acquisition and other business ventures. These moves underscore the SEC's commitment to holding corporate leaders accountable, even amid the backdrop of impending leadership changes. By accelerating its enforcement timeline, the agency is ensuring that critical actions cannot simply be swept aside by the next administration. The DOJ's indictment frenzy. At the Department of Justice, the urgency is no less intense. Attorney General Merrick Garland and FBI Director Christopher Wray are spearheading efforts to finalize investigations and file indictments before their potential departures. Grand juries are working overtime, scrutinizing high-profile cases involving financial fraud, corporate malfeasance, and public corruption. One notable tactic involves the strategic promotion of key DOJ staff members. By elevating loyal, hardworking officials into more senior positions, Garland and Wray are making it more difficult for incoming leadership to replace them. These promotions also ensure that critical cases remain in capable hands, preserving continuity amid a political transition. The DOJ's efforts are not limited to corporate crimes. Federal prosecutors are also pursuing cases against individuals accused of fraud, embezzlement, and other offenses. While some critics argue that this enforcement blitz is politically motivated, others see it as a necessary step to safeguard the rule of law. By filing indictments now, the DOJ is placing a significant burden on the incoming administration to justify dismissals, a move that could provoke public backlash. The the CFTC and other regulators join the fray. While the SEC and DOJ are grabbing headlines, other regulatory bodies are equally engaged in this enforcement push. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, for instance, is ramping up its efforts to combat fraud in the futures and derivatives markets. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, is targeting anti-competitive practices, while the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, is focusing on money laundering and other illicit financial activities. This collective effort reflects a broader recognition among regulators. Time is running out. Many staff members, facing the prospect of leadership changes or job uncertainty, are channeling their frustrations into productive action. Meetings within these agencies reportedly emphasize the importance of clearing desks, tying up loose ends, and ensuring that enforcement actions are filed promptly. The role of staff-level bureaucrats. Much of this enforcement activity is happening below the commissioner level. While political appointees like Gensler, Garland, and Wray set the tone, the actual work of investigations and filings falls to career staffers. These employees, insulated from immediate political changes, play a crucial role in maintaining institutional continuity. By finalizing cases now, they are ensuring that enforcement actions can proceed regardless of who holds the top job. This dynamic is particularly significant in cases involving complex financial fraud or corporate misconduct. Investigations of this nature often take years to develop, requiring meticulous attention to detail. By completing the groundwork and initiating enforcement actions, staff-level bureaucrats are making it far more challenging for political appointees to reverse course without facing scrutiny. Political implications of the enforcement blitz. The flurry of activity at these regulatory agencies has not gone unnoticed. Critics of the Biden administration argue that this enforcement blitz is a partisan effort to undermine the incoming leadership. They contend that some of these actions are politically motivated, designed to create obstacles for the next administration. Supporters, however, see it differently. They view this regulatory push as a necessary response to years of corporate misconduct and lax oversight. By taking decisive action now, regulators are reinforcing the principle that no one is above the law, regardless of political affiliations or connections. For the incoming administration, these actions present both challenges and opportunities. On one hand, they must navigate the political fallout of inheriting high-profile cases. On the other, they have a chance to build on this momentum, demonstrating a commitment to accountability and transparency. As the Biden administration enters its final days, America's regulatory agencies are racing against time. From the SEC's crackdown on Wall Street to the DOJ's flurry of indictments, this enforcement blitz reflects a deep-seated commitment to accountability. Despite morale challenges and the uncertainty of leadership transitions, regulators are determined to leave no stone unturned. This unprecedented effort sends a powerful message. The rule of law endures, even amid political change. By acting now, these agencies are ensuring that corporate wrongdoers face consequences, preserving the integrity of America's financial and legal systems. The coming weeks will be pivotal. As new leaders step into these roles, they will inherit a regulatory landscape shaped by this final push. Whether they choose to continue this trajectory or pursue a different path remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the actions taken now will resonate for years to come, influencing the future of federal oversight and public trust in government institutions.